Hey everybody, I just want to talk about this whole Saturn thing again. It seems that there's a lot of attention focused on Saturn itself. Even though it's a big part of the game, it's not the only game in town. The names Yahweh or Yahuwah or the Tetragrammaton and Elohim were names for Saturn at a particular point in time, but before that they were names of trees. That's why you have the tree of life and the burning bush. The tree was the goddess in ancient mythology. The S can be a time wave, as some people say, but it is also symbolic for the serpent people, or the serpent race, or something to that effect, the serpent people. This goes back to Atlantis. So there's a lot of other things at play here. Uranus is at play in this whole thing. Saturn is the ruler of this age, the age of Aquarius. That's why there's so much emphasis on it now. The same reason there was a lot of emphasis on Jupiter back in Rome and Greece, because at that time Jupiter was the ruler of that age, I believe. So this is all an astrological story in the Bible, and it's a psychological story as well, because those planets aren't just rocks in the sky, they are part of you. That's what's inside you. Every cell is a universe. Okay, this is all connected, the microcosm and the macrocosm. So I'm reading this book, Fire and Ice is one of the books I'm reading. Trying to make it through because I'm trying to do so much research. So I'm reading a few different books. Fire and Ice by Stephen F. Flowers, I believe, PhD, and he talks about the Saturnalia, or the Saturnalia Brotherhood here, which was the order that Aleister Crowley became Grand Master of. And this book talks about how the fraternity of Saturn, basically, is the Fraternus Saturnalia or something like that. But it tells how they were preparing for this age of Aquarius and how Saturn is the ruler of it. And this is what they believed, and they did rituals to Saturn, and I'm going to show you what they talked about and stuff here. According to secret FS teachings, Saturnus is the great judge that manifests justice. He also brings reason and intelligence, and governs all Saturns of weight, measurements, and number, and law. And the color is black. That's why you see judges wearing black and police wearing black. They are part of the weights and the measurements and the law. And he is the lord of the seven dwellings, planetary genii of the outer realm. Okay, see, he's the lord of the seven dwellings. I believe Saturn has 7 rings. This is equals planetary genii of the outer realm, and governor of the revealed world, and lord over life and death, and over the light and darkness. Saturn is seen as the breaker of cosmic order and unity. Thus, he instituted death, causing regeneration and change to come into being. One of the ways in which he broke the cosmic order was in the revelation of divine secrets to mankind. For this he was punished. Thus, in many ways, Saturnus is identical with Prometheus of Greek tradition, and is certainly to be identified as well with the serpent of paradise. I don't know how accurate that last part is with the serpent of paradise and everything, but all I can say about that is, didn't the lack of knowledge of good and evil, prompt Eve to eat of the fruit, which is just knowledge. Their nakedness was knowledge. So this demiurge was totally against us having any knowledge for some reason. That's why I'm telling you, knowledge is power. Power is knowledge. This demiurge, Saturnus, is identified with the number 666 and so on. Further, let's see. Okay, yeah. Besides these general teachings on the nature of the demiurge Saturnus, the FS has a special doctrine particular to it, concerning an entity attached to the planet Saturn and active on Earth called the Gotos. This is the specific egregore or daemonian of the Brotherhood, of which the Grand Master 33rd degree is the personal representative. The Gotos functions in a way similar to the way the secret chiefs worked in the Golden Dawn system. That was Aleister Crowley's thing too, the Golden Dawn system. It's a system of magic, and it can be used by anybody, good or bad, good or evil. The belief of this system of lodges having hidden preterhuman intelligences at the esoteric heads is commonly held in the FS. Members would, for example, say that Baphomet was the Lodge Daemonian of the Knights Templar. The Baphomet is the pentagram with the goat's head in the middle and the circle around it. The name Gotos is actually a formula made up of the initial letters and the official name of the 33rd degree Gradus Ordinis Templi Orientis Saturni. Okay, and it goes on to talk about this Gotos, which is a thought form, or a god they created through using the energies of Saturn. Now you can manipulate time and space in people's minds through magic and through energies, certain energies, and Saturn is one of those energies. And that's why you see people here talking about them screwing with time, and talk about the cube. And I'm going to show you that here too, about the cube. Hopefully that's coming up soon. Or did I pass it somewhere? But I don't think so. But the cube has to do with the moon, as it's Saturn working through the moon, and it's I have to show it to you. Let's see. I'll skip this for a minute because I want to show you that. Okay, here it is. Sorry about that. It says, Kabbalistically, the effects of the negative causal principle of Saturn, which corresponds to the third Sephira called Bena, understanding, is reflected in the ninth Sephira called Yesod, foundation, which corresponds to the moon. Therefore, in the astrosophical doctrines of the FS, the effects of Saturn equals 3, are transmitted through the moon equals 9, the power of Saturn squared. Okay? That's the cube. That's PX. XP. You know? So, anyway, let me show you something about the Tetragrammaton real fast. The YHWH, Yahuwah, Yahweh, whatever you want to call it, used to be the name of a tree, the yew tree. Now it is, in the Old Testament, it was the name for Saturn. Okay. Okay, this is part of a ritual they did in the lodge with its members, who were heads of state, very wealthy CEOs, so on and so forth. The master proclaims, "Thus I performed the consecration by the power of the elements, the four-poled magnet of the holy Tetragrammaton." Okay, this is part of a magic ritual. That's what the Levites were doing in the tabernacle. That's what Moses was, a magician. Okay? and this is why people weren't allowed to see what they were doing in the tabernacle. Not because they would die, because they were doing rituals, and it's hidden knowledge. They were hiding the knowledge. See the tetragrammaton here? And then they would say a chant and use Dominus tetragrammaton in the chant and do a whole ritual around this tetragrammaton. But, you know, Saturn isn't the only game in town. Okay, here's the seal of Saturn. You've seen that before, right? And the line through it. They draw that in the air during rituals, using that, tapping into that energy. Okay, so like I said, Saturn isn't the only game in town here. There's other things at work, and here's a section here that's pretty interesting. It says, although it is stated that every age or epoch contains within itself the power necessary to its own fulfillment, humanity as a whole resists this realization. See how it says every age? We're leaving the Piscean age and going into the age of Aquarius now. There was an age before the Piscean age. Okay, and we just don't get it. We don't know how to tap into these energies, basically, is what is being said here. It is only open to and known by the truly elect within a society. Humanity is for the most part still dominated by an unyielding law of self-destruction that rules in all realms of being, organic as well as inorganic. Knowledge and experience of the demonic principle embodied in Saturn can, however, free the initiate from the laws of cause and effect. In other terms, man can liberate himself from his own karma. Beyond the moral aspects of this, these ideas are also useful in formulating a notion of how Saturn magic works. Then skipping down here, it goes on to say, in theory, the Aquarian age, the aeon of Saturn, should be manifest first and foremost within the magically elect. The influence of the coming Aquarian age is being guided by the demiurge Saturnus, which is in turn being transformed through Uranian influence. Okay? So Uranus has something to play, has a part in this as well. The present fading Piscean age, the two fish. That's why Christ fed his disciples, he fed the people with two fish, because he was feeding them the knowledge of the hidden knowledge of astronomy and divination arts. Okay, the fading Piscean age was ruled by Jupiter. Remember, it was ruled by Jupiter in Greece. Who did you have? Zeus, or Jupiter, who overcame his father Saturn, right? So that Jupiter reigned that age. Saturn is reigning this age, under the hidden influence of Neptune. So there's another influence that's in here. Neptunian influence is thought to be exercising tremendous force at the close of Piscean age in the area of politics, hence the upsurge in collectivistic and communistic ideals, which makes all the sense in the world. The dawning of a new day, the sun rising from the east symbolism we see all over the place. This tide will, however, suddenly turn, and this influx will be destroyed by surging Uranian powder. According to the Saturnian teachings, the confusion of today's world is mainly due to the convergence of the two competing and conflicting aeonic streams, the incoming Aquarian and the outgoing Piscean. It will be up to the emergent Saturno-Uranian spirit and its elect to bring in a new order out of this chaos. See, that's what they're planning on doing. They're using this to bring in their new order, and it's going to be a new age. It's not going to be the ending of the world. It's going to be the ending of an age, and we're going to be not only entering a new age, but passing through a photon belt sometime here in the future. And your DNA is made up of photons as well. It's like a galactic car wash we're about to go through. This could mean that our DNA could grow, or I think I forget exactly how it works, but instead of having 6 something or others in our DNA, we'll now have 12. So it's very interesting. But this is what Saturn has to do with everything. Saturn hasn't been the ruler of this world the whole time, like some people suggest. It's the ruler of the dark side of the age of Aquarius. See, in the Saturnian view, there does seem to be, sure, a dark side of the age of Aquarius. Okay, and the last part here is a ritual that they do, and it says, the MC says, "Hear ye now those from whom we have learned, those who ye know to be masters, Hermes Trismegistus, Adon Hiram, Melchizedek, Moses, Aaron, Elias, Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, Zoroaster, and on, Plato, Pythagoras, which was a god that stole knowledge from the, I don't know if it was a god or an angel, or some stole knowledge from the gods and brought it down to man." Okay, and they list all these people, and it goes on to lend me your might, and so on and so forth. So, you know, people who are into the Bible, which I used to be, solely had my faith in that, but this is what I'm coming to learn, is that the Christ, the Buddha, that's all in you. The Krishna, that is you, your connection to the divine intelligence, which is your selfhood inside you, the Holy Spirit. This is what, if anything, the Christ was trying to tell people, which the writings have been highly highly manipulated. Very manipulated text. You know, kings paid certain people to do these scriptures. Okay, Sir Francis Bacon was one of them, who many believe was Shakespeare. Okay, so this is what, and these people that are doing this are not doing it because it doesn't work. They're doing it because it does work, or they wouldn't be doing it. They wouldn't be wasting their time. Okay, so that's just a little of what I've been reading, and a little connection. I just wanted to make it clear that Saturn is not the only game in town. There's a lot other things going on in psychology, ancient religions, in the ages. Saturn rules this age. That's just about the gist of it. This is the book, Fire and Ice. Llewellyn's Teutonic Magic Series, Fire and Ice, the history, structure, and rituals of Germany's most influential modern magical order, the Brotherhood of Saturn. Okay, this was one of the main lodges, and this is connected to Freemasonry and Illuminatiism and all that. It's all connected. They all are in the same club. They just have, there's different brotherhoods and different orders, and this is written by Stephen E. Flowers, PhD. So, just wanted to make that clear. Saturn's not the only game in town, again. There's a lot of other things we need to focus our attention on as well. It's good that there are people out there looking at that and relaying that. I just wanted to make sure that everybody knows there's other things that needed to be explored. And we have plenty of things that each of us could do for ourselves and for each other. So, thanks for watching. Take care.